Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have a small update on the topic and the previous video I uploaded about the problems I was having with Skyrim. In case you have a very short memory, my problem was that my save game had corrupted somehow and a number of doors and buildings and whatnot in the game were becoming unactivatable. You couldn't open them, and neither could NPCs, which was essentially becoming a game-breaking issue. Now, it didn't take very long for someone to send me wouldn't call it a solution to the problem, but something of a workaround. A user on Twitter, whose name, unfortunately, I cannot even remember off the top of my head right now. You'll have to forgive me, it's 9 AM here as of this recording, and I've been up all night, so I'm not in possession of all my faculties right now, but anyway. I do not know why this dead dragon is here, by the way. It might have something to do with all the dead guards. Anyway. He's also sort of... I'm not getting any dragon salt from him either, so... whatever. We'll mark you for delete, shall we? And then disable you. Anyway, I'm back here in Falkreath, and as you can see, these doors are unusable by both me and poor Dengir, who seems to have locked himself out of his house, along with his maid. So, this is a problem. I can't do anything. And, you know, I mean, there's no console command or anything that will fix this. However, as I said, a user on Twitter sent me a workaround for the problem, a small mod called Unblock the Activation Fix. What this mod does is it essentially, well, the problem is that scripts over time sometimes, for whatever reason, they kind of lock up activators, like doors, for example. And it's usually as a result of an old mod or something like that. And unfortunately, these sort of script fragment things that are keeping these doors locked up and unactivatable, you can't get rid of those with a regular save game cleaner because of sort of complicated reasons that I can't really remember. I read it on the mod page anyway. You can't get rid of them that way, and so they end up stuck like that. So a user on the Nexus created a mod which basically runs its own script which unblocks nearby activators when you stand near them in the game while the mod is running. I think the mod creator was Flex Creator. I think that was his name. I'm also using another fix by him which fixes animation glitches. I had to reinstall Immersive Creatures to fix a completely different CTD issue. And one of the side effects of doing that was that it created some animation glitches, which his mod fixes, for the most part anyway, with some exceptions. But that's an issue that's completely separate, and it can actually be solved with the console anyway, so it's not a big deal at all. But yeah, this obviously is a problem. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to demonstrate how this works, and I'm going to talk a bit about what it means and the future of the LP as a result of it. So I'm going to save the game now, and I'm going to exit, and I'm going to come back with the mod installed. Okay, I'm back, and now as you can see in the top left, the mod is installed and running. It's saying no references to unblock nearby and sneak to stop the script. So now, this is Corpse Light Farm over here, and as you will recall, I could not activate this door. So now what happens if I walk over to this and wait? Found blocked reference, unblocked. Now, if I activate the door, I can unlock it. I get the lockpick menu thing. I will go over here to Dengir's house, for instance. I'll stand near it for a minute. Found reference unblocked. The door is unblocked. And Dengir is now going to walk into his house, as he should be able to. This door over here. Found reference unblocked. Lord's house is now unblocked. What about the trader? References to unblock. Give it a minute. Found reference. There we go. Unblocked. Go on. Try go back into your house. Go on. Give it a try for us. Ta-da! It's fixed. And just for the sake of thoroughness, let's go and try the apothecary as well. Found reference. Unblocked. There you go. So it's not a fix, but it's a workaround. I'm now going to sneak to stop the script. I think I might have to stay sneaking in order for it to stay stopped. Now, this mod is tricky because obviously, I cannot leave it running all the time, and the mod maker pretty much flat out says you should never leave it running all the time. One of the chief reasons for this is that the game actually needs to block things quite often as part of quests and things. Activators are quite often blocked on purpose. Furniture is a big one, apparently, according to the mod maker. And I'm going to go out on a limb and trust him on this. So what I now essentially need to do is, now that I've unblocked everything that needed unblocking, I need to save the game again. I need to exit the game, and I need to uninstall the mod again, and then load it up again, and we should be okay. Now, I didn't call it a fix, I called it a workaround, and that's for a very good reason. The problem in this save game still exists. Unless I'm very much mistaken, and I would like to be mistaken, to be fair, unless I am very much mistaken, the problem will continue to spread, as was reported by other users with this problem. However, what I am now able to do is load up this mod if I come across something that is blocked, and unblock it. You know, then save the game and then reload again. That's what I can do. If I'm very lucky, this probably isn't going to be the case, but if I'm very lucky, if I can find and unblock everything, then it might just stop spreading altogether, because there'll be nothing to spread. But I doubt it really works like that. But yeah, in theory, from now on, if we come up against something like that, I can just use this mod to fix it, essentially, and we can continue playing. Obviously, like I said, that's a workaround. There's still a problem with the save game, which is bad in and of itself, but also, if this problem is with the save game, if this is going to go wrong, who knows what else is going to go wrong. I honestly, until I came across this, I was getting ready to consider starting a brand new game and basically doing Claudius 2.0 and starting from the very, very, very beginning and retracing my entire steps for the entire LP, which was obviously going to take a long, long time. But I was almost kind of semi-willing to do it. Hopefully having this mod will mean that I won't have to do that. But on the other hand, it's still making me very wary about the future of this Let's Play, because, as I said, if this goes wrong, you know, what the hell else can go wrong? Evidently, this save game has big problems. We know about this one, but we don't know about any others that might crop up yet. After all, this particular problem, it took me 2 fucking chapters, pretty much, to figure out that it even existed. And, in fact, it probably existed before that too, so God knows how long this problem was here. But anyway, yeah, suffice to say, I think, with this little sort of workaround, I should be able to continue the Let's Play pretty much as I intended to do it. But I am still just a little concerned. I will freely admit that, but on the bright side, you know, the LP isn't dead. Okay, so a bit of a small update. I'm just going to add on to the end of the bit I recorded earlier. Turns out the problem was way more widespread than I actually originally thought it was. Way more widespread. It seemed to have pretty much infected, for want of a better term, because it's not really what it is, but, you know, pretty much every single town and village in the entire game. What I thought was a sort of mostly isolated incident in Falkreath was actually every single town in the game. I went to Whiterun and Winterhold and Rorikstead, didn't matter where, and I found the same problem. What I have learned since then, though, is that the issue seems to essentially be isolated to NPC houses. And by NPC houses, I mean literally just the little random houses around the towns that you get, which the NPCs live in, like that one over there, and this one prior to it being demolished, obviously. And that sort of thing, and like the Battleborn home over there, and the Greymane one, and so on and so forth. And same in the villages as well. Things like the Jarl's Halls, like Dragon's Reach, the Blue Palace, Palace of the Kings in Windhelm. None of those were affected. Taverns don't seem to be affected either at all. None of the taverns had blocked doors. None of the guild hall type places seemed to have blocked doors. None of the shops did either. So actually, that's not true at all, because some of the shops absolutely did, because the ones in Falkreath were blocked. But yeah, so one would assume that's what it's mainly limited to. I mean, I'm not expecting to sort of go to a dungeon and find that its door is blocked. It seems to be a towns and villages thing where NPCs live. So, and you could quite often tell which houses it was because there'd be like a queue of NPCs outside all trying to get in. So what I've essentially had to do is sort of completely and utterly shatter my immersion by charging off around every single town and village in the game that I actually am able to fast travel to, mind you. So not necessarily all of them. And I haven't done Markarth either, because this character hasn't even been to Markarth yet, and going into Markarth would mess up a bunch of the events that happen as soon as you go into Markarth for the first time. So that will have to be dealt with later, but essentially what I've had to do is run around every single town and village that I could, like some sort of script fairy, running past people's doors like so that the unblocker could unblock them all. And I've pretty much done it for all the towns and villages that I could. The problem is, I don't know. I've waited for like a week, and I've reset all the cells as well, and I've run my save game script cleaner. A lot of people have been suggesting, have you cleaned your saves? And yeah, I clean my saves all the time. It was one of the things I kept hoping it would, because for ages I had all those random crashes, which are not guaranteed to be gone, to be fair, actually. But I was having all those random crashes, and I thought maybe that cleaning my save game would help. So I've used save game cleaners plenty ever since, like, chapter 3. I've been using those things, so there's no point in suggesting those. As I understand it, the problem with these doors getting blocked is actually a problem that does not get picked up by save game cleaners. That's why it's such a crippling issue. There's nothing you can do about it with regards to cleaning your save. So, as to what caused it, I really don't know. It could just be a random Skyrim engine issue, which, to be fair, there are lots of. I've heard of people having similar problems to this on the Xbox version of the game. So, Skyrim is quite capable of messing up a save game even without any mods installed. But if I had to pin it on one, I would say it's probably the really buggy lockpicking overhaul I had installed ages ago. But I can't remember when I installed it and when I uninstalled it, though. So, but yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd say it's probably that's done something. But anyway, most of the doors and things should be unblocked. If I come across one that is blocked, I will obviously just have to, unblock it with the unblocker, which will break immersion because I'll have to come out of the game and stuff. But worst things can happen. The main thing at the moment is I am pretty much just waiting to see if it returns. I could wait a month or something like that and then discover that all the houses are blocked again. Because obviously this problem accumulated over time, and so it stands to reason that even though I've unblocked a load of shit, it's going to accumulate again, just the same way it did before. Is that unblocked? Yeah, it is. Good. This one wasn't blocked to begin with, then I don't think, because I didn't run up and check this one when I was running the unblocker. So there you go. It's not a standard NPC dwelling, so it really didn't get affected. If you see my point, I think the reason shops might be affected is because they kind of double up as NPC dwellings in most cases. So I guess you could argue that taverns do, but none of them were affected, so I don't get it really. But yeah, so that's that. I did say that one of the things I was thinking of doing was redoing it all from scratch, starting a brand new save again with a brand new Claudius, and basically just mirror everything that I did in the Let's Play. And to be honest with you, I think I might actually do that anyway, or at least start doing it. Frankly, even though I've seemed to have managed to... Look at this. I found a blocked door already. I think I might have missed this one. Let's see. Can you get in the front door? Yeah, you can get in the front door. I managed to unblock that, but I missed this one. And Ulfberth Warbear seems to be obsessed with going through the back door instead of the front door, so... Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't trust the save game anymore, frankly, so I think I'm going to try and do it. It will take a long time, but on the other hand, it's going to be weeks before Chapter 5 is finished in terms of uploading, so I don't know, maybe I've got the time to do it in. I will pretty much have to sit there with my the Skyrim Let's Play on my left-hand monitor, and I'll be playing the game on my right-hand monitor, and I'll basically just have to follow along and try and do everything I did the first time, more or less. If I do it that way, obviously lots of things are going to be different. Everything from the loot I got to, the weapons I have, to all sorts of things. I mean, for example, if I do it again with a brand new Claudius, one big sort of fairly game-breaking thing, well, not game-breaking at all, but sort of continuity-breaking thing, is that there's every chance that when I do it the second time, the companion's questline won't break. So I could very well end up sort of with Claudius being harbinger of the companions. And to be fair, that's what I thought was going to happen the first time around, but it's weird because we kind of already went around that the first time. And if the quest works properly, here's the thing, like, if the quest works properly, there's no way to avoid the funeral. You don't go back up to Jorvaska, say hello to someone and say, let's start the funeral now. You get in through the gate, and then Vilkas just takes you straight up to the funeral. So there's going to be all sorts of problems like that if I do it that way, but I don't know. Really, I would honestly rather do it that way and have to retcon a bunch of shit than potentially stick with this really dodgy save. I mean, I will continue playing with it and testing it a bit to see how it develops, but the problem is this blocked activators thing is probably such a slow process, really. I mean, it accumulated for a very, very, very long time, since before Chapter 4 at least. So, yeah, I could test and test and test for days, and yet I might still might actually see it coming back. I could declare, right, okay, I think the save game's fine now, guys, and then we'll be playing it, and then, oh, fucking phone, hold on. Okay, where was I? Right, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I could declare, right, yeah, I think the save game is fine now, and then we could be playing, and we could get to like the end of Chapter 6, or maybe the beginning of Chapter 7, and then suddenly, bam, everything's broken again. And here's the thing, I mean, if not that is broken, then something else might break. And, if it keeps doing it again and again, where I have to go around and blocking everything, that's just not even worth doing. I can't keep running around every town in the game, because it took fucking forever to do. I mean, I hasten to point out, it took bloody ages to get everything sorted. And I can't keep doing that again and again and again. It's just ridiculous. So, yeah, that's the final verdict, I think, really. I will see how this one gets on. I'll see how this save game develops. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start working on another alternate version of the Claudius save. Basically, starting again from the very beginning. And we'll see what happens. It might turn out to be the case that I realise that trying to do Claudius again right from the start, all over again, will just turn out to be too much effort. I mean, think about it. We're talking about tens, if not over 100 hours of gameplay that I'll have to redo. And I can't sit around playing Skyrim all day. You see, so it's a problem in that respect. But I don't know, if it's doable, then I will give it a go. If it turns out it's not, then I will see what we can do with this save. But yeah, I would, if I can do it that way, I'd like to, because I mean the thing is I could rush to the end of the main quest and then just call it a day, but I really don't want to. That was never really the plan, if you see what I mean. It wasn't the plan at all. There was a whole bunch of really cool stuff I wanted to do before we ended up hitting the end of the main quest and killing Alduin. And so I would really feel like I'm getting shortchanged a bit if that was what we had to do, but I don't know. If that is what we have to do in the end, then so be it, because I would rather we finish Claudius' story somehow than just end up, leaving it hanging, like I was forced to do with Idris. So anyway, yeah, I'll stop rambling and babbling now. You'll have to forgive me. Like I said, I'm ridiculously tired out right now. So yeah, but that's the full status report, I guess. After another couple of hours of testing and fixing and things like that, we'll see how we get on. And I'll update you guys in future as information becomes relevant, I guess. So yeah, in the meantime, ta-da, and I'll hopefully see you for Chapter 6. But we'll see.